Alright, yo, let's talk about anime. Just anime, Full Metal Alchemist. Alright? Soul Eater, etc. Now, my favorite anime in 8th grade was Soul Eater because the hip hop designs, like Depth the Kid and, Soul Eater. And if you didn't know, one of my favorite goals in life was to be a hip hop artist, a rapper. Alright? And Soul Eater was right down the alley, right down the way, where my heavy Naruto, obsession for Ultimate Ninja series. You see, back when I was younger, when Jeremy came over, Uncle David's son, we had still the Ultimate Ninjas before the Storm came out, and I don't like Storm, it's a very pushing per relationship like the devil. The first Ultimate Ninja was cool. We're talking about ninjas, Ultimate Special. Let's go, all right? Now, and I did like Full Metal Alchemist was back when it was on, Toonami, back, when they still had the brothers, okay? Now, alright, literally, I like the graphics of Full Metal, but I never got into it. But that's what I understood about, anime over time. He said, you see those yellow eyes, just keep going. Alright, now, over the years, the specific anime that took over, like Badaka Box, the shit looks like Supreme Kai. Alright, Kumagai, that's Sakari's favorite anime because, what he does is he views anime in a weird fashion, but he went all out, where it came to school for the graphics, okay? And getting deeper into anime, the one that I checked out that was different my freshman year was Fairy Tail, and so I'm thinking that's the best shit ever with all the action. So with all the action. So when Andre came along, all right, as we said that Fairy Tail wasn't his original work, and that Hiro Mashima actually made Raid Master before, all right. Now, don't shut me. I'm gonna go into details. All right. I'm not gonna talk about any anime. Big Mandela. You just clicked on it when you were already in the void because I know there's certain things like Cowboy Bebop literally say the name Norte. They say Norte in Cowboy Bebop. All right. They say Norte a lot. All right. Now, when it comes down to it, my heart has been broken by this anime community that prefer spoilers over watching your show, because what made me such a unique anime fan was I like the opening, I like the characters, like the fight scenes, I like the ship, and I had a lot of bad times because I was black. I was growing up black in America, liking the actual couple ships in anime, which is really, really suicide because what they are is nothing compared to rape relationships and the blood beating. Okay, all right. All right, let's get that out there now. Soul Eater and Full Metal Alchemist don't have the same, author, but come from the same studio, Studio Bones, same as My Hero. And the truth behind it, is that, back when I first got YouTube, Dragon Ball Z was heavy. In fact, I put on my Instagram the other day, the old ways that you get views was to YouTube poop, all right? And I got over 100 views for my YouTube poops, when I first got it. But where it came down to, where it actually came down to the criteria, right? I gave my YouTube poop channel to Andre, instead of getting all the views, and now you have to, pay for subs. Now, subs go hand in hand with the material, okay? Because when YouTube started, not making AMBs and making only moves for a proper tour where people like from Neverworld and people took over, right? It started to be hell. Because that shit requires no soul. And literally, when you play games like Kingdom Hearts, literally get this gates of persona, literally is running away from who you are. Plus that means your family's twice as spoiled. Alright? Well, let's talk about Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. When I had an argument with these niggas in the ARL that Naruto Shippuden wasn't better than the original Naruto. In fact, literally, they took a martial arts perspective, saying that Naruto and Sasuke was better than Pain. I said, fuck out of here, alright? It's true. It's very true. I overheard that nigga Kula Luce the other day. That was the worst part of the fucking anime, the war. You niggas were fucking losing sleep to get that shit. I'm telling you. It's true. It's very fucking true. I don't, want you to mislead it, alright? It's, not monotonous, okay? What rose back when Naruto was on TV was the LimeWire AMBs, the fights that came out in Japan. Back when we didn't look at, watching anime on lots sub like that, alright? Lately, and I recreated the whole thing in the hood, my girlfriend, Sydney, all that. I love LimeWire, literally, all to this day. It's been complicated, alright? That's why I'm talking about anime, okay? Lately, why my favorite anime in high school is Bleach, you know, with characters like Grimjaw and Ukiura, alright? Alright? Now, when Yami transforms, that's not a good thing, nor a bad thing. Now we got something hectic and anticlimactic, okay? Now, that was one of my favorite, you know, moments in the series when Yami is transforming, okay? Now, where it comes out to, you know, Majin Vegeta versus, you know, Kid Buu. Or, you know, the time, you know, he fought Fat Buu, the scene I was trying to look at in Vegas, alright? I like Majin Buu's hits because they're intricate, alright? That was one of the main things. We'll look up SS3 Goku versus Kid Buu. We'll look up all the fucking fights where it came to One Piece. When it came to One Piece in 8th grade, it broke the mold because it did what Naruto couldn't. You know, there was a weird character called Brook that came out, you know, this, and that. So where am I getting at? Where am I getting at in the video is that One Piece, you know, Naruto were all Air King in 8th grade, and that anime had Rise and had climactic. And so my personal story, you know, Earth's Moody with anime goes like this, you know. One time I actually got 5150 and I was in the ARL and I was trying to adapt, you know, and things like, I just say, you know, a really big, you know, moment with my mom. And guess what happens when I get there? It was a house in Oakland, all right? See how your mind is closed, but then I mentioned that there's a house in Oakland. Guess what ends up happening, all right? Guess what's on TV? You're trying to prove your phone the ARL. I can make got killed. It's true. Literally, I have my own personal experience, and the police literally prefer this shit over real shit that I have a foundation to stay on. I'm like, fuck this shit, man. Literally. I'm done. I'm really, really fucking done. And just remember, literally, when you put me in position over Chris, literally at any fucking time, literally, no matter how many fucking fake contacts you have with Sean Shepard or Christopher Sabat, the voices of fucking Goku and Vegeta, literally, in reality, Chris can ask at any fucking time when you gotta go to DreamCon. In fact, literally, he can selfishly ask that question after you just watched this video, and Anthony's still gonna push the button, alright? That's what this video is all about, alright? I'm not talking about anything like Medallas, you know, Gotcha Kuda, you know, things that go with fucking death like that. I was talking about pure raw anime, you know, back when Full Metal was the fucking shit. I wasn't even a fan of this shit, but, you know, I knew what it was about. Ooh, that scares you, huh? Alright? Alright? Because I know Inuyasha, literally, if you actually watch it Japanese, it's for Down syndrome people. It's out of pocket. You know, people like Jamal recommended me an anime like Rama in 1/2, alright? I'm done. I'm really, really fucking done. You know, we used to be ruled by people that like Spirited Away over this noble Naruto. I'm like, fuck this shit, right? Literally, what made anime so diverse and so unique is that the artwork is very hard to draw in Japan. If you actually know how to draw, it takes time, literally, and they're flipping, you know, mid-tier and high-tier at the same time, all right? Because, what I know from experience, all right? And what the vest, the most complicated thing that's to draw the anime is the hands. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, but the vest too, because how you draw is with multiple layers. It's one of them, all right? I don't know how professionally draw. I'm going back to school to learn how to draw, but one thing I know is that when you advance, you can erase. It lets you get across the big points better, all right? Now, when it comes to that, right? Literally, the transitioning literally from mangaka, I something I know a little bit about. The transitioning's a little bit mixed between mid and high, all right? Because in Japan, they tell you to think big, all right? Now, to sum it up, I love, you know, anime, literally. In fact, one of my biggest albums was downloading anime dubbed on DVD, you know, versus actually sub, you know, how it is in Japan. But I watched plenty of subs, all right? And I didn't read manga. I have moments to read manga, but manga didn't overrule me, all right? So I loved anime when it was on TV. I don't like when people disrupt it, all right? The crazy shit that's going on, the Blue Lock community, all that shit, literally, I don't like it. Sparking Zero, I don't like that shit. In fact, literally, let me just say it for this fucking video. The fucking games are a fucking situation. All this fucking intellectual fucking ability, fucking Bleach of Breath of Souls, fucking Sparking Z, literally, and there's cringe through all the video games, but it gives you a chance to be intellectual. What does it do at the end of the day? Literally, and then guess what started happening? They started playing Bleach, like fucking DBZ, and started making, you know, uncanny for people. So I'm like, you know, fuck out of here, all right? I love anime, you know, I just wanted to show you this, you know, with the new fit and, you know, the haircut, you know, there will be some editing, you know, maybe not tomorrow, I'm giving myself a break, all right? Literally, let's recognize that, you know, when I visit my hometown, which is gonna be, you know, a couple uploads, all right? I want you to know that that's a setup for my fucking mom, literally, all right? I'm gonna visit my hometown, San Leandro. Oh, would you like to live there? I'm done with this fucking shit, literally. Please understand, I already agreed to go back to school. I already did this, and that, so this is out of pocket, all right?